Assalamu alaikum viewers, I recently uploaded a video on my YouTube channel in which I praised the Turkish government for converting the Hagia Sophia museum into a masjid. And I see their policy or their step as a historic event and also within Islamic principle. The reason I'm making this particular video is because I came across few videos of famous Islamic scholars like Javed, Ahmed, Ghamidi Sahab and Sheikh Imran Hussain from Trinidad, in which they were strictly condemning this act of Turkish government, and also just not of this Turkish government but also of Sultan Mohammed Fateh, who in 1453 initially converted the cathedral into a masjid. Even though I'm not an Islamic scholar, but I do have deep connections with muftis and ulamas, and I also hear their views, and after hearing different views, I have my own perspective on different issues as well. Firstly, I would like to ask the Islamic scholars who are condemning this act, that where does it state explicitly that a non-Muslim place of worship cannot be taken away from them at any cost by the Khalifa or Sultan, and that Khalifa or Sultan who has conquered that land through war, not through any kind of peace treaty or an agreement. So I would like to know that where does it explicitly states that he does not have the right to take that particular specific place of worship away from them, if he has some valid reason as well. There's a difference between taking away a particular place of worship away from the followers of that religion and totally abandoning worshipping of a religion. So for instance, we see in the history books that how the Jewish clergy were against the disciples of Jesus and the followers of Jesus in early days of Christianity, and we also remember that how Saul of Tarsus was sent to kill them, and the famous event of road to Damascus took place. And more recently, talking about abandoning the worship, we see how the Soviet Union prohibited Muslims from worshipping and even reading their holy books and following their religion in the Central Asian states. So the point I'm trying to make here is that the Sultan Mohammed Fateh did not prohibit Christians from worshipping or following their religion after he conquered Constantinople. Instead, he formed a millet system where every minority religion had the right to perform their rituals and carry on their worship, and they also had their personal laws intact for them. So if he had prohibited the other religions in carrying out their worship, then it would have been certainly against the essence of Islamic teachings. And as far as Hagia Sophia is concerned, it was not just a normal place of worship, we all know that, but it was also a powerful religious space, and you can say a political hub from where Patriarch used his religious influence to draw political gains for his faith, and also for the Byzantine Empire. You can say that it was sort of a second largest base after the King's Palace in the Byzantine Empire. Furthermore, during 1204, when the Roman Catholics took over the Hagia Sophia and they changed it into their own cathedral from the Eastern Orthodox Church to Roman Catholic, this clearly shows and explains that its importance was symbolic. And this emphasizes that it was not just a worshipping place, but it was a sign of a Byzantine legacy. Secondly, the architecture and size of this place was not just for worshipping, but it was to show the glory and magnificence of the Christianity, and which was inspiring people through the great structure towards Christianity. So my friends, viewers, the true purpose of jihad requires shattering the glory of the opponent who decided to fight, and also to eliminate fitna, as we know from Quran. Fitna means when truth and falsehood are mixed together in such a proportion that it leaves people confused, that it becomes difficult to decide what is right, what is wrong. So how it was possible for Sultan Mohammed Fateh to leave that majestic construction in the middle of the city to Patriarch and let it keep inspiring not only Christians but also the Muslims who took over. So basically, the fault lied in its hugeness and in its creative masterpiece compared to other buildings in the city at that time. So there was no comparison. This reality, I think, led Sultan to a decision either to destroy it or to convert it into a masjid. So he converted it into a masjid for people, so to draw their inspiration towards Islam and its glory. It wouldn't have made sense leaving it to Christians in an Islamic Istanbul, later Istanbul. And why do these scholars forget what Rasul of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did with Zul Khalasa, the temple which we know that it was known as Kaaba of Yemen? He ordered his companions after Fatah of Makkah to go and destroy that place. And 150 companions of the Prophet destroyed and burned it, and Prophet of Allah praised their act. And it was not just a place of worship, but it was labeled as Yamni Kaaba. So due to this exalted label, it was source of fitna, maligning name of Kaaba for evil purpose. So I stress on it again that allowing non-Muslims to perform their worship is one thing, and letting them worship in the building which reminds their glory and strength over Muslims in Darul Islam is another thing. And it is cause of fitna. So fitna must be removed. Apart from this, it is also said that the Sultan purchased it from the Christians. I'm not really sure about this authenticity, but this kind of news is circulating on the social media. For nearly 5 centuries, Hagia Sophia remained a masjid, and Ataturk made a total unjustified decision by changing a place of worship into a place of entertainment, a museum. How can this be justified in any manner? If the Christian world can tolerate it being a museum, then turning it into a masjid should be more acceptable for them. That at least it is now a place of worship and God will be praised there alone. Now the Turks are spiritually connected more to the times of 1453 than 1931. So their leaders are finding inspiration from that era. I'm sure they will achieve more successes if they keep driving motivation from the Sultan's time, because without any doubt it was a blessed army, as the Prophet of Islam prophesied glad tidings for them, as they were the first to conquer Constantinople for Muslims.